G'day, how you going? We're looking at weird things never seen before, unless you're in Australia. That's the title of this one. And this comes to us from an awesome channel called Living Simply Australia. And this was suggested by Lucy, so thank you so much for this. This will be linked in the description down below. And of course, browse their channel. Check out this whole original video. I'm always curious about lists like this. Let's take a look.
The first thing is separate toilets and no bidets. In Australia, many
Separate
houses
toilets.
are usually designed with the toilets separate from the main bathroom.
Yes, I know. Yeah, see how it's in that little room? That is something I never experienced. Fun fact, this is how weird the U.S. is. Every state is literally different. Every single house we looked at was down in the Southwest, in particular the state of New Mexico. Our house down there, when we lived down there that one year, ours was like this. You had a separate toilet in its own little room, and then the bathroom. They were totally separated, walls, door, everything. I actually really like that. I think it's kind of cool. Up here in the Illinois, Chicago area, I rarely see this. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen it. If it is here, it's rare. So it just kind of depends. I think it's kind of fun. But yeah, we have these in the U.S.
So basically you have
Some
a
places.
little room just for the toilet, and then a bathroom where you wash your hands, you have the mirror, the shower. And based on my research, historically, this was done for practical reasons, to allow one person to use the toilet while another uses the bathroom, etc. And another
I think it makes perfect sense. It's awesome. I think it should be standard. And the fact that there's so many houses in certain regions, at least here in the U.S., I think it's weird that it hasn't caught on. I really like it.
The reason, of course, is hygiene and privacy. And again, this is something super surprising because in my country, I'm originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and in my country, separate toilets don't exist. So when I first came here, especially I was living in a share house, and I found it very interesting, but at the same time, again, very practical, especially if you're living in a house with a lot of people, perhaps a big family with children. You don't have to wait for your turn to use the toilet. You just can go, and then another person can have a shower in the separate bathroom. And
who can argue with privacy and hygiene? It makes perfect sense.
another thing in relation to this, in relation to bathrooms and toilets, and this is something that I had first seen in the US, and then when I came to Australia again, it surprised me because it's not usual here either. It's bidets, or we call them bidet. Yeah, that was another huge difference. In my country, Argentina, bidets are basically an essential part of the bathroom, and in many European countries, this is the case as well. But in Australia, they don't exist. And
they don't exist. Wow, so they haven't caught on in Australia then. You'll have to tell me in the comments if you agree with that. I would say still, as a whole, that bidets are not common in the U.S., but they're definitely gaining traction. You see some stuff about it, in random news or on videos or certain medias here, and there, a lot of people do talk about them or talk about upgrading to one or whatever. So they are making their way into the U.S. pretty strong right now.
I was so surprised that I told my friends about it, and they were like, "Oh, that's disgusting. How come they don't have bidets?" Then I told my Aussie friends about the bidets, and they find disgusting the fact that we have bidets as well. So it's a very interesting cultural difference. And I don't know, it's something that caught my attention. The second thing that I found very weird is Vegemite. Aussies love their Vegemite, and again, this is one of the weirdest things that I've come across. And if you don't know what it is,
I think it's totally fair to say it's weird.
This is a spread that is made of brewer's yeast extract.
Pretty cool if you give it a chance.
Of beer manufacturing that you can put on a piece of toast, crackers, sandwiches.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
And I remember the first
they were
time
spreading a lot on there.
that I tried Vegemite. It wasn't actually here in Australia, but it was 1 year before coming here. I was studying English with an Aussie teacher, and I remember that he brought Vegemite for me to try. And at the beginning, when I looked at it, I hadn't tried it yet. When I looked at it, I thought it was yummy because it reminded me of chocolate, right? Like if you see the color of Vegemite, it looks like Nutella. And then, of course, I gave it a try. He put it on a piece of toast. Basically, you have just to put a bit of butter, then a bit of Vegemite, and I tried it, and my face, it was basically lemon face. It was the weirdest thing that I had ever tried in my life.
That would be really bad if you're trying it, not knowing what to expect, but also thinking that it might be like chocolate or, something yummy. Oh boy.
Another thing that caught my attention when I first came to Australia is the fact that alcohol is sold separately. So you won't find alcohol in supermarkets. I remember the first
Yeah, that's still weird to me that I hear that all the time from viewers, seeing different catalogs and sales papers and stuff we've been sent. Yeah, it is very weird to me that you can't buy alcohol in the supermarket. It's just so convenient. It's right there. We do have standalone liquor stores as well, but you can buy it in gas stations here, right? Get fuel, run in, grab a bag of chips, get some beer. I mean, you can pretty much find it anywhere here. And I don't know, it makes it easy, that's for sure.
that I went to a supermarket to get a bottle of wine, and I spent at least 30 minutes going around just looking for the,
you can't even buy
alcohol
wine
section, right? And I couldn't find it
So it's
until
all
I
alcohol.
asked. And of
Yeah.
course, I realized that there was a bottle shop outside. Apparently, this is a measure that they've taken.
Oh, well then, that's not the biggest deal though. If it's right there, right in certain setups, like it's like something you can just walk across a pathway to get there, that's not a big deal then, right?
Taken to limit excessive alcohol drinking. As I've studied a measure that they've taken
Wait a sec.
to limit excessive alcohol.
Is this Carlton Dry $89? Holy smokes.
Apparently, this is a measure that they've taken to limit excessive alcohol drinking. As I've said in other videos, Australia is known for having a strong drinking culture, and that's why there are high taxes on alcohol. And also, it seems that that's the reason why they have separate bottle shops. Whereas in my country, in Argentina, as well as in many European countries, when you go to the supermarket, you'll always find the alcohol section right in there. We don't have separate bottle shops, so that's an interesting difference and something that now I've gotten used to it, but yeah, it's still a bit, weird. Again,
It's basically comes down to things are always going to be different in different countries and areas or whatever. And there's always reasons too. I understand that alcohol is taxed heavily and, generally maybe kind of expensive in Australia. And I understand that there's reasons for that, or reasons behind that thought anyway, and, even benefits to that. So I'm not arguing against it. I'm simply pointing out it is so different because alcohol, I think, is generally very cheap here in the U.S. And, of course, that might mean that more people have access to it a lot and it ends up creating problems. So, you could argue for or against these things all the time. But my point is, it is so much cheaper here, and that would be hard to get used to in Australia. Just grabbing a six-pack to last me the whole weekend, just drinking a couple a day here and there would be a lot pricier, right? Because I don't drink that much, but, when I do, it's only a little bit, and it barely costs me anything, so I kind of like that,
Another thing that caught my attention when I first came to Australia is the fact that Australians place stuff that they don't want on the street outside their home. And this practice is called hard rubbish collection. And most of these items are usually pieces of furniture or appliances that people put outside their homes for other people to come and pick them up, or for a truck to pick it up.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, and to be honest, many of these items are usually in really good shape. I know many people who basically make a living out of that. They go and collect, a couch that perhaps is in good condition or just a bit dirty. They clean it up or they refurbish it, and then they sell it on Facebook Marketplace, and they make a lot of money. So yeah.
Yeah, people do make a side job or maybe even a living out of that. So that sounds exactly like what we have here in the U.S. Yeah, you can, there are restrictions, but you can leave pretty good amount of different things or pieces of furniture at the curbside, of course, in front of your house. And someone can pick it up if they see it before garbage day. And if not, the garbage will pick it up.
Perhaps it's a good business idea if you want to explore that. Another thing that I found very surprising when I first came to Australia is the fact that there are very, very hefty fines for putting your feet on public transport seats. And these fines actually go up to 288 Australian dollars. It's insane. And
that
of course,
is hella
it makes sense,
crazy.
right? I don't think anywhere in the world it's polite or respectful to put your feet on the seat,
Certainly.
right? On the public transport seat where other people are going to sit.
It's certainly against, it's bad manners, like universally, definitely. But boy, is that harsh.
Basic good manners. But I had never seen that they actually fine you for that. And such, again, hefty fines. So yeah, that's something that caught my attention.
I wonder how much that's enforced. I suppose it would deter a lot of people from even thinking about it.
First came to Australia was Australian football or footy or Aussie rules or it has so many names, AFL. Anyway, I remember the first time I was here, I got my apartment, I turned the TV on and there was a footy match going on. For me, it was a bit...
I'll say this every time. I still can't get over that field. It's just so bizarre. It's awesome. It's just so big and it's like round. And of course, the post, the goals.
To be honest, at the time, I hadn't even heard about footy. Yeah, it was a mix of rugby and soccer, but I wasn't really sure what was going on.
So fun.
It's basically neither. It's just a unique sport.
It's very unique.
Again, the thing that surprised me about Australia is the fact that it's compulsory for school kids to always wear sun protective hats outside.
Whoa.
Of course, the reason for this is that Australia has some of the highest UV
Makes
levels
sense.
in the world. So it's a measure, again, that for me was surprising because when I was in school, I didn't have to wear a hat. It wasn't compulsory.
Right.
But at the same time,
me
it makes
either.
complete sense. So it's actually really, really good. And another thing in relation to the Australian school dress code, if you want, is the fact that school kids have to carry very big bags. So you see the little 7-year-old carrying a bag that is almost bigger than them. And
Oh my
I don't know,
God.
it's weird. In my uneducated opinion, and I'm not a health professional, I'm not a chiropractor, so I'm not sure. But in my opinion,
Seems
carrying
kinda heavy.
a lot of weight at that age probably poses some kind of risk for the kids' posture. I'm not sure. You can leave a comment if you know more about this. Growing up, in my case, all kids have the wheelie bags. We basically use
That's
that.
kinda cool.
So yeah, that was another thing that I found weird.
That's actually smart. Yeah. Or in my case here, until you're like older, you're not going to carry barely anything. So your bag is small and it's light as a feather. So that's, I guess, good on your body when you're
I don't
young.
know if it's good or bad, but it's interesting, I guess. Another thing that really surprised me about Australia, and perhaps it shouldn't have, considering how important the beach lifestyle is for this country, is that they have a beach safety education program called NIPERS. This is basically a program where kids as young as 5 years old learn about beach safety and
that's
rescue
cool.
techniques. So if you're at the beach at any coastal town in Australia, usually in the morning during weekends, you are probably going to come across all these kids being trained for the NIPERS program, basically being trained on life-saving techniques and, as
That's
I said, beach
awesome.
safety,
Oh my God.
etc. So yeah, it's something that I would have loved to.
Dude, you know you live in paradise when your country's beach culture is so strong that it's ingrained into you when you're young. Like, it's just like an actual thing, right? Like these programs, and they're learning this, like, look at how young these kids are. Dude, that's so lucky. I've only been to the beach on a real coast, like, a few times in my whole life, and I'm, 31. Australians are going there like all the time, like thousands of times by the time they're 30. Like, dude, that's freaking awesome, man.
Be able to have when growing up. I find it amazing, and of course, again, this reflects the importance of knowing how to swim here in Australia.
Yeah.
That's super important. That's the one skill that you do need to learn if you're seeking that beach lifestyle, I guess.
Well, that was really good. There was 11 things total in there. We only featured some of them here. So, please use the link down there. Check out the whole video of hers and, of course, browse her channel. It's very interesting stuff on there. We haven't done a video like this in a while, but these list videos, especially with different countries, especially Australia, are always interesting. So, appreciate you watching and being here, and, of course, for the suggestions. I think this will be an interesting comment section, so I can't wait to see you down there as well. It is the weekend, so I hope your weekend is grand and awesome. And I guess that's it for this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all, stay safe out there. I'll catch you later.